श्री गुरु गौरांगगंधा विकगिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जय। नित्याल विष्णु विष्णुपार शुतर शुत शिशुमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्याल विष्णु विष्णुपार शुतर शुत शिशुमार भक्ति ग्रंथ साई श्री भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्याल विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतश्मार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्याल विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतश्मार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्याल विष्णु महाभागवत श्री गोक्षरस बाबाजी महाराज की जय। नित्याल विश्व श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्याल विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानु गौड़िया गुरु वार्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शार गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौरमंडल व्रजमंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। जय श्री श्यामानंद पंडित की श्यामानंद प्रभु की जय। जय श्री नरोत्तम श्रीनिवास श्यामानंद प्रभु त्राय की जय। जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Okay, let's do a short Mangala Charan and then we will begin. अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। श्री सिद्धांत सरस्वती विदितो गौड़ीय गुर्वन्वये भातो भानुरिव प्रभात गगने योगोर संकीर्तनाय मायावारतिमिङ्गिलोदरगतान् उद्धृत्य जीवनिमान् कृष्ण प्रेम सुदाब्धिका गाहन सुखं प्रादात् प्रभुं तं भजे। वन्दे भक्ति विनोदं श्री गौरशक्ति स्वरूपकं भक्तिशास्त्रज्ञ साम्राज्यं राधारस सुधानिधिं। नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानंद नामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवरायते गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्ट सज्जनप्रिया वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। साई श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। वृषभानुसुतान्वितवामतनुं यमुनातटनागरनन्दसुतं मुरलीकलगीतविनोरपरं भज गोद्रुमकाननकुञ्जविदुं स्मर गौरगदाधरकेलिकलं भव गौरगदाधर Pakshachara Shrinugoragadadhara Charukathang Bhajagodrumakanana Kunjavidum Tavai Vasmi Najivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Devi Tvang Nayamang Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshaya क्षिप्ताष्टकामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वं शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् भज श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरे गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, everybody. Let's see who's here. Nri Hari Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams Prabhu, and Bhavatarani Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. Ghana Sham Prabhu, Hare Krishna. And I see there are 6 devotees on YouTube and Facebook. I don't see any comments yet, though, so I don't know who's there. But I'm guessing Ganga Mataji is there, and Indira Mataji, and Rohini Nandan Prabhu. I don't know. If you write a comment, then I'll see your name. And also, pranams to all devotees watching in the future. Shachi Devi, Revati Didi, Jayadev Prabhu, Dandala pranams. Haribol, Seshwari Mataji and Rohini Nandan Prabhu. Haribol. Haribol. So I wrote in our schedule, like I just wrote on the YouTube video here that today we're going to go over Shikshashtakam again today. But I just now changed my mind. And I'm going to read about Shyamananda Prabhu because we didn't read about him yesterday. We didn't get enough time. And I think for those of you on the other side of the world, in North America, South America, I think it is Shyamananda Prabhu's disappearance day today for you, right? I don't know. This is my guess. Because usually it's one day earlier in India. So yeah, I'm going to read about Shyamananda Prabhu. Also, my mind is a bit distracted. I didn't manage to chant any rounds today, this morning, because usually, like as soon as Mangal Arati is over, I just go on a walk so that nothing can distract me, and then I just chant like most of my rounds. But today I didn't get to do that because anyways, I had to work out some things, and anyways, I'm not going to tell you the details, but yeah, I didn't get a chance to chant, and so my mind is not very, yeah, I'm feeling the effect when I don't get to do that. My mind's very not focused. And so, yeah, I'm going to read from this wonderful book by Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj, Sri Chaitanya and his associates. And today's program might be very short. I have to go to Godrum soon. I'll tell you some details about why I'm going to Godrum maybe in a few days. We have like a big announcement to make. But yeah, I'll tell you about that later. Okay, so Śrī Śyāmānanda Prabhu. Śrī Śyāmānanda Prabhu was a servant of Subal and Krishna Lila. He was the disciple of Hridayananda or Hriday Chaitanya, a disciple of Goridas Pandit, who was Subal and Krishna Lila. And I still haven't been able to figure out what meter this is because it's broken up in a very random way. Let's see. Yam loka bhuvi kirtayanti hridayanandasya shishyam priyam. I got it. Sakye Shri Subalyayang Bhagavata Preshthanu Shishyang Tata Sa Shriman Rasikendra Mastaka Manish Chitte Mama Harnisham Shri Radha Priya Narma Marma Suruchim Sampadayan Bhasatam. Okay, so this is from the Shamananda Shatak. Says Śrī Śyāmānanda was known in this world as Hridayananda's dear disciple. He was a follower of Subalsaka, and he became the grand disciple of the Lord's dear associate. May he, the crest jewel of the connoisseurs of divine love, appear day and night in my mind, bringing me a fondness for the service of Shri Shri Radha Madhav's confidential joyous pastimes. Very interesting, huh? Since he was a follower of Subalsaka, who is very involved with Krishna's amorous pastimes, especially, he's like one of the main Priya Narmasakas. So that's why, even though he's a follower of Subalsaka, he's praying for service to Shri Shri Radha Madhav's confidential joyous pastimes. Normally, that would seem like rasabhas. Why are you praying to somebody in Sakyaras for service to Shri Shri Radha Madhav's pastimes? But if you're somebody following in the line of, if you're a follower of Subal Saka, then yeah, then it makes sense. Okay, so Shyamananda Prabhu was born on the full moon day of Chaitra in 1456 of the Shaka era. That's 1535 AD, in the town of Bahad, Bahadurpur, which is near the Kharagpur railway station in Medinipur. His father was Sri Krishna Mandal and his mother Durika. Krishna Mandal's hometown was Dandeshwar, which lies on the banks of the Suvarnareka River. The following statement is found in the Gaudiya Vaishnav Abhidhan. Sri Krishna Mandal used to live in a place called Ambua, near Dandeshwar. He formerly lived in Goda, the part of Bengal which lies on the banks of the Bhagirathi River, and only later moved to Dandeshwar, just across the present-day border in Orissa. Shyamananda Prabhu's Shripats in the towns of Dharenda, Bahadurpur, Raini, Orohini, Gopivallabhpur, and Sringapur are very dear to his disciples. I just saw, Ramesh Prabhu, who's now, his name is, I think it's Ramani Mohan Baba. Um, yeah, and he told me that he was planning to go to I think he said he was planning to go to Gopivallabhpur today, but then he found out how many people go on that day, yesterday. And it's like so many thousands of people that it's difficult to even get darshan or to fit anywhere. It's like just total chaos on that day. And so then he decided not to go. But yeah. Okay. Shyamananda Prabhu was born in the Sargopa subcaste, which fits in the category of Jalachal. That is, Brahmins who are permitted to only take water touched by its members. That's very interesting. Huh. Okay, so of course, a Vaishnav is beyond the material qualities and may take birth in a family of any race or caste. Anyone who thinks badly of Vaishnavas or judges them on the basis of their race or caste is destined for hell. I'm just curious, how many times does Srila Bhakti Bhagavad Goswami quote this verse in this Sri Chaitanya and his associates? Because I remember reading it a few times. Just looking up for fun. Archie. Let's look up the word Archie. Archie. Oh, okay, less times than I thought. It comes out, he quotes this verse only 4 times. But he might mention the point that Anyone who thinks badly of Vaishnavas or judges them on the basis of their race or caste is destined for hell. I think he mentions that point a lot, like more than 4 times. Okay, I'm not going to read the Sanskrit for that, but anyone who considers the deity to be nothing but stone, the guru to be an ordinary human being, or the Vaishnavas to be members of a particular caste or race, who takes water, the holy water which has washed Vishnu and the Vaishnavas' feet, and can destroy all the sins of the age of Kali to be ordinary water, who thinks that the name or mantra of Vishnu which destroys all evils is the same as any other sound, or who takes Vishnu to be equal to anything other than him, has a hellish nature. It's from the Padma Puran, Archi Vishnu Shiladir, Guru Shunaramatir, Vaishnavi Jati Budir, Vishnu Vaishnav. Yeah, that verse. So, and then he quotes this from Chaitanya Charitamrita 3:4, verses 66 to 67. He says, one who takes birth in a low-class family is not disqualified from performing devotional service, nor is one who born in a pure high-class Brahminical family automatically qualified for such service. Whoever engages in the worship of the Lord is a great person. One who does not worship is rejected. There's no consideration of caste or creed in Krishna bhajan. Name bhaktas chaturvedi mar bhakta shwapacha priya tasmai deyam tato grahyam sacha pujo yatha yaham. Simply being a knower of the 4 Vedas does not make someone my devotee. An outcast who is my devotee is dear to me. One should exchange gifts and food, etc., with such a devotee, for he is verily as worshipable as I am. That's from the Itihas Samuchai, quoted in Hari Bhakti Vilas 10:127. Shyamananda's parents had lost several children in childbirth, and they vowed to surrender their next child to Vishnu if he survived. Having suffered so much grief in the loss of their previous children, they first named Shyamananda as Dukhi, or unhappy, to ward off further distress. Now, this is a quote from Bhakti Ratnakar from the first chapter, verses 351 and onwards. In Bhakti Ratnakar, is it Taranga? I forgot. Or Vilas, I can't remember. I think it's anyways, the chapter names I'm talking about. So Shyamananda's parents, Durika and Sri Krishna Mandal, made their home in Dandeshwar. His father was the best of the Sargopa caste, of impeccable character. Krishna was everything to him, and Krishna's devotees very dear. We cannot describe the virtues of his parents for fear of increasing the volume of this book. They had previously lived in Dharendra Bahadurpur, and people say that Shyamananda was born there. Though his brothers and sisters had all died in childbirth, nothing could stop them. Nothing could stop him. Even so, his parents brought him up in sadness, and they called him Dukhi, sad. Shyamananda Prabhu's parents performed the appropriate rituals when their time came, such as the first eating of solid food and the cutting of hair. As he grew older, he studied Sanskrit grammar, etc. His parents were overjoyed to see his talents and his religious proclivity. Shyamananda Prabhu listened attentively to devotees when they spoke of Gauranga and Nityananda Prabhu's glories, and he would repeat them to others constantly. Whenever he listened to the activities of Gaur Nitai or Radha and Krishna, tears would flow in torrents from his eyes. Dukhi served his parents devotedly, and they told him to get initiated so that he could fully commit himself to the service of the Lord. Dukhi agreed and told him that he wished to take Diksha from Hriday Chaitanya in Ambika Kalna. Going there would also give him the chance to see the Ganga and bathe in it. His parents happily gave him permission to go. When Dukhi arrived in Ambika Kalna, he threw himself at the feet of Hriday Chaitanya, who, upon becoming acquainted with him, happily gave him Krishna mantra. He gave Dukhi the Vaishnav name Krishnadas, and so he was known from then on as Dukhi Krishnadas. We have some songs that end with Dukhi Krishnadas. I wonder if those songs are written by Shyamananda Prabhu. that's one thing that's so many songs are authored by Krishnadas, and it's not clear which Krishnadas is which, maybe Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, or maybe a different Krishnadas, maybe it's Dukhi Krishnadas Shamananda Prabhu, or I remember looking at some Bengali um encyclopedias, and there were so many different Krishnadases, and it's difficult to tell which Krishnadas wrote what. Um, Hriday Chaitanya ordered him to go to Vrindavan and take up a life of intense bhajan. Though Dukhi Krishna, sorry, oops. Though Dukhi Krishnadas did not like being separated from his Gurudev, following his order, he set off for Raj, first visiting Navadip and other places in Gautamandal, where he sought the blessings of the Vaishnavas. After spending much time on pilgrimage, he finally arrived in Vrindavan, where he became completely absorbed in the worship of Sri Radha Shama Sundar. In Vrindavan, Dukhi Krishnadas studied the Vaishnav scriptures under Sri Jiva Goswami, who is the leading scholar of the Sampradaya. When Hriday Chaitanya heard of the enthusiasm with which Dukhi Krishnadas was leading the devotional life in Vraj, he wrote a letter to Jiva Goswami in which he said that Jiva Goswami should accept Dukhi Krishnadas as his own disciple. Just as he gave titles to his other prominent students, the Acharya title to Srinivas and Thakur title to Narottam, Jiva Goswami gave the name Śyāmānanda to Dukhi Krishnadas. The reasoning behind this name was that he brought great joy to Sri Radha Shama Sundar. And here's a quote from Bhakti Ratnakar, first chapter, whatever it's called, verse 401. He brought great joy to Sham Sundar, and hence he was given the new name Śyāmānanda in Vrindavan. Seeing his sincere endeavor and devotion, Sri Jiva Goswami taught him devotional scriptures. Haribol Vidilala Sadidi. Jiva Goswami sent Srinivasacharya, Narottam Das Thakur, and Shyamananda Prabhu back to Bengal with the Vaishnav scriptures written by the Goswamis in 1504 of the Shaka era. That's 1582 to 1583 AD. The idea was to spread the teachings found in these books throughout Bengal and Orissa. We have already related the events that took place when Virahamvir had these books stolen. Narottam Thakur went to northern Bengal, and Shyamananda Prabhu went to Orissa. The Medinipur district was previously under the rule of the Orissan king. Radharani's special mercy on Shyamananda. Even though Shyamananda Prabhu was Hriday Chaitanya's initiated disciple, his guru had entrusted him to the care of Jiva Goswami Prabhu. Through the association of Jiva Goswami and service to him, Shyamananda Prabhu developed a taste for serving Radha and Krishna in the conjugal mood. Hriday Chaitanya Prabhu himself was a disciple of Gauridas Pandit, who was one of the 12 Gopals, one of the Dwadash Gopals, Subal Sakha. He thus worshipped Gaur Nitai in a mood of friendship. Those who think that Shyamananda Prabhu committed an offense to his initiating spiritual master by abandoning his mood and by serving Krishna in a different mood are wrong. The mood of friendship is contained within the conjugal mood. If a disciple makes further progress in spiritual life, it enhances the reputation of his teacher. Okay, so that's interesting. Srila Bhakti Balavartirtha Goswami Maharaj is saying that like Gauridas Pandit was serving in Sakyaras, as Subal Sakha, but Shyamananda was not just serving in Sakyaras, but in Madhuras. But also Gaur Ganesh Dipika said that he was a follower of Subal Sakha, right, in Krishna Lila. But maybe he had two swarups in Krishna Lila as well, like so many personalities. I don't know. Okay, so an extraordinary incident which took place in Vrindavan prior to his being ordered by Jiva Goswami to return to Orissa demonstrates how dear Shyamananda Prabhu was to Radharani. One day, Shyamananda Prabhu was sweeping the Ras Mandal in Vrindavan, absorbed in an ecstatic trance. Suddenly, by Radharani's transcendental mercy, he found her ankle bracelet, her nupur, lying on the ground. In his excitement, he touched the ankle bracelet to his forehead, where it left a mark, which is preserved to this day as the tilak marking of the disciple descendants of Shyamananda Prabhu. It is known as Nupur Tilak. Shyamananda Prabhu's preaching. Srinivasacharya, Narottam Thakur, and Shyamananda Prabhu primarily preached the message of Mahaprabhu through kirtan. The styles that these three acharyas used respectively were named Manohar Sahi. So Srinivasacharya is Manohar Sahi. And Narottam Thakur, his style is Garan Hati. And Shyamananda Prabhu's style is Reneti. They would enchant the listeners with their heartfelt singing of kirtan. And I think I remember reading this somewhere, but these names, Manohar Sahi, Garan Hati, and Reneti, those come from the place where they were when they introduced those kirtan styles. So like there's Garan Hata, and these are place names as well. So they would enchant the listeners with their heartfelt singing of kirtan. Unfortunately, these styles of kirtan are no longer extant. As a result of Shyamananda Prabhu's preaching in Orissa, many Muslims also became his disciples. The most important of his innumerable disciples was Rasika Murari, or Rasika Ananda. Rasika Ananda was a son of Achyutananda, the zamindar of Rohini village. He had another name, Murari, and was thus most commonly known as Rasika Murari. He was a very powerful preacher, and his fame is still widespread throughout the villages of Orissa. A list of some of Shyamananda Prabhu's prominent disciples is given in the Bhakti Ratnakar. Okay, so this is from the 15th chapter of Bhakti Ratnakar, verses 62 to 66. Shyamananda made disciples all over the place. A person can be purified by hearing their names. Okay, so we're going to be purified just by hearing these names right now. Radhananda, Purushottama, Manohar, Chintamani, Balabhadra, Jagarishwar, Uddhava, Akrura, Madhuvan, Govinda, Jagannath, Gadadhar, I love this name, Anandananda, the bliss of bliss. Okay, and Radha Mohan. Shyamananda was constantly immersed in the joys of kirtan and the association of these disciples. Poets have described his wonderful pastimes for the pleasure of everyone. Okay. Another of Shyamananda Prabhu's notable disciples was a yogi named Damodar, whom he converted to Vaishnavism. Narahari Chakravarti has written the following account of that conversion. So this is also from chapter 15. Shyamananda mercifully flooded the yoga practitioner named Damodar with devotional ras. After becoming his disciple, Damodar constantly cried and chanted the names of Nitai Chaitanya. Who could remain untouched by his ecstatic absorption? He danced, crying out, "Bhakti is the best of all!" After delivering Damodar, Shyamananda continued to travel about, distributing the jewel of devotion to everyone. Shyamananda Prabhu put on a large festival at Dharendra with Rasika Murari and Damodar that is still remembered today by his descendants. When he left the world, Shyamananda Prabhu turned over the service of Sri Govinda at Gopi Vallabhpur to his dear disciple Rasikananda Dev Goswami. Shyamananda Prabhu's disciples and their descendants still worship his deity Radha Shyam Sundar in Vrindavan. This temple is still one of the principal pilgrimage sites in Vrindavan. Shyamananda Prabhu lived the last part of his life in Nrsinghapur in Orissa. where he continued preaching Vaishnavism. His earthly pastimes came to an end on the first day of the waning moon in the month of Ashad in 1552 of the Shaka era, 1631 AD. To preserve his holy memory, the branch of the Gaudiya Math in Medinipur city was named Shyamananda Gaudiya Math. I wonder. Okay, I thought. Oh wait, yeah. No, yesterday was Pratipada, right? Just looking at the calendar. Today's Dvitiya. Okay. Let's hear in more detail that pastime of the finding Radharani's Nupur. I think Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj and Srila Gurudev tell it a bit differently, if I remember correctly. Let's just look. I'm going to open up the Vrajmana Paragama book. I think it should be in there. Let's see. GBP books. Where is Vrajmana Paragama? There it is. Let's see. What should I type in? I should type in. Let's just type in Shyamananda. Shyamananda. Okay. Okay, so this is from the Vrajmana Paragama book by Srila Gurudev Nityal Professor Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And this is in the section of the Vrajmana Paragama book about Jhadu Mandal. And Jhadu Mandal is just right next to Shringarvat. Just after Shringarvat, a little bit, right? When you're on the Paragama mark. The pastime connected with this place, Jhadu Mandal, occurred at the time of the famous Srila Jiva Goswami. Srila Shyamananda, Srila Nartham Thakur, and Srila Srinivasa Acharya studied Srimad Bhagavatam and the Goswami literatures from the young Jiva Goswami, who gave Shyamananda the service of sweeping this ancient place of Krishna's pastimes. One day, while he was sweeping in the early hours before dawn, Shyamananda found a golden anklet. Previously, Jiva Goswami had instructed him to return any lost objects that he might find directly to its owner, not to anyone else. If others should try to claim a lost item, he should inform them of Jiva Goswami's instruction to him. So it kind of, I guess, Jiva Goswami kind of had some, like he kind of had some, like he knew what was going to happen, I guess. Or maybe not. Maybe that was just a random instruction. Probably not, though. Okay, so Shyamananda, therefore, very carefully tied the golden anklet. Yeah, so Shyamananda, therefore, very carefully tied the golden anklet in the corner of his upper garment. A short while later, two Vrajbalas, two young girls, came to him and said, "The anklet you found belongs to our Saki, and we have been looking for it. You can give it to us." Śrī Śyāmānanda humbly replied, "Whomever the anklet belongs to should personally come and collect it. I will not give it to you." The young girls replied, "Do you feel no shame? How can you dare desire to see the face of this young daughter-in-law?" But Shyamananda adhered to his words and did not give them the anklet. The two young girls brought their girlfriends to Shyamananda and said, "Tie the anklet around her foot." Śrī Śyāmānanda's hands trembled with prema as he tied the anklet around the foot of their friends. These young girls were none other than Srimati Radhika herself and her two Sakis, Lalita and Vishaka. Srimati Radhika ceaselessly desires to bestow mercy in this way upon her loving devotees. By this event, Shyamananda's life became blessed. Previously, his name was Dukhi Krishnadas, but upon receiving the mercy of Srimati Ji, his name became Shyamananda Das. Srimati Lalita stamped that anklet on Shyamananda's forehead. Even today, those in the spiritual family lineage of Shyamananda Prabhu wear a tilak in the shape of the anklet on their forehead. The following incident also took place here. Okay, and then there's another pastime about the grinding stone. But yeah, so that's how Srila Gurudev tells it. And then I think Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj is a bit different. Let's see how he tells it. 1 second, just opening up the Vishuddha Chaitanya Vani website, bcvani.com. Let's see. Here's Śrī Śyāmānanda Prabhu. Okay, so Dukhi Krishna studied under the tutelage of Sri Jiva Goswami. Sorry, I'm just trying to make the text big so you can all see it nicely. Don't think I can do that though. So it'll just have to be this size. Okay, so yeah. So Dukhi Krishna studied under the tutelage of Srila Jiva Goswami in Vrindavan along with his fellow students Narottam and Srinivas. Eventually, Dukhi Krishnadas was awarded the title Shyamananda by the Vishva Vaishnav Raj Sabha, while Narottam received the title Thakur Mahashai and Srinivas was given the title Acharya. Once, while Shyamananda Prabhu was sweeping in the grove at Sevakunj in Vrindavan, he found Srimati Radharani's ankle bracelet laying on the ground. Overcome by ecstatic symptoms just by its touch, he reverentially touched it to his forehead, and the Nupur, the ankle belt, left a mark. So due to this mark, his tilak looked different. There's no tulsi leaf on it, just goes like that, ankle belt. And here's a picture of Shyamananda Prabhu finding the anklet. Yoga Maya. So the way Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj explains it, he says that Yoga Maya approached Shyamananda Prabhu. And then Gurudev explained it was Lalita and Vishaka. So Yoga Maya then approached Shyamananda Prabhu and said, "My daughter-in-law's Nupur, ankle bell, fell off her feet while she was dancing. If you have found it, please return it to me." However, Shyamananda insisted, "I shall return the Nupur only to its owner." Then Srimati Radharani herself appeared to reclaim her Nupur, and in turn offered a beautiful deity of Sham Sundar to Shyamananda Prabhu. Indeed, Shyamananda Prabhu is a recipient of very special mercy from Srimati Radharani. That small deity of Sham Sundar gifted by Srimati Radharani can still be found in the Sham Sundar temple in Vrindavan. In the same temple, the big deity of Sham Sundar was established by Baladev Vijibhushan Prabhu later. To instruct us not to supplant authority by overstepping set standards, Jiva Goswami chastised Shyamananda Prabhu for having changed his tilak to Nupur tilak instead of the conventional tilak adorned by the Guru Varga. Then Shyamananda Prabhu related the entire story behind the Nupur tilak, and each time he attempted to wipe off the Nupur tilak, it reappeared on his forehead of its own accord. Thus, it was accepted as a bona fide mark. To this day, the Nupur tilak is adorned by the descendants of Shyamananda. Okay, so that is our reading for today. What time is it? Wow, it's only 7:42. But it's actually good for me to end early today because, as I said, I need to go to Godrum. I have a bunch of work to do today. Yeah, so I'm going to stop here. And tomorrow we will continue on with our Shikshashtaka program. We have now completed reading all the verses that all the verses illuminating the the 7 excellent results of Harinam Sankirtan. We read all the verses that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave to highlight all these, 7 results. And then afterwards, I forgot. Anyways, I think tomorrow will just be a short program. And I also would like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives a verse for how one should meditate on one's mantras. And there's a list of, I think it was 5 things. It's a verse from Hari Bhakti Vilas. And I really want to memorize that verse tomorrow because my mind goes all over the place and I'm not following probably any of those 5 things. And so it would be very beneficial for me. So then I thought it'd be nice to memorize it and then could think about it before do your anik. So yeah, that will be in tomorrow's program as well. All right. I'll just do a short Mahamantra and then we'll end. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. जय श्री सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि की जय, श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जय, श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जय, जय श्री गुरुदेव की जय, श्री परम गुरुदेव की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री रूपानु गौर गुरु वर्ग की जय, स्वपार्षद श्री गौर नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय, श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीगण की जय, श्री गिरिराज महाराज की जय, श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय, श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, अनंत कोटि अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, जय श्रील भक्ति वल्लभ तीर्थ गोसाई महाराज की जय, the book Śrī Chaitanya and his associates की जय, श्री श्यामानंद प्रभु की जय, जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवाय कृष्ण भक्ति पद देवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः। वंचा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। Dandava pranams Niri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Chattamai Mataji, Rohini Nandan Prabhu, Raseshwari Mataji, Vidya Lala Sadidi, and all the other devotees who joined. I don't know who's there, probably Ganga Mataji, and also all devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi, Revati Didi, Jayadev Prabhu, and everybody else. Dandavat pranams. See you all tomorrow. Do you want to see the 3 styles? Manohar Sahi of Srinivasacharya, Garanhati of Narottam Das Thakur, and Reniti of Shyamananda Prabhu. I think I downloaded a PDF a while ago. I was searching online about it, and then I think, let's see, I have a folder called Resources. Sorry, no, Interesting Devotional? Interesting Articles. No, it's none of these. I had a bunch of files somewhere when I was trying to research that, just for fun. PDF Devotional? Let's see. No, it's not there. Anyhow, doesn't matter. Sorry, I'm not organized. My files aren't organized enough. Might be here in areas. And then Shikshashtakam personal. Kirtan and Shloka classes. No, okay, couldn't find it. Sorry. If I ever find, if anybody, because it's such an interesting topic, if anybody knows anything about this, I would love to know more. I mean, one thing we could try. One second. Um, now let me just open this up here. Let's just ask. I want to know more about uh Manohar Sahi. Let's see what happens when I do this. Manohar Sahi and Garan Hati styles of kirtan. Are there any good resources online? I'm just going to type that. Let's see. Let's see. I'm just typing this into ChatGPT and see if it can find anything on the web. Searching on the web. Okay. Okay, so on gopinathmott.wordpress, there's something. Scholarly mentions. Okay, let's see the scholarly thing. Just advanced, proceed. Okay, okay, I'm not going to waste too much time on this. I'm just going to see if we can find anything very quickly. This is from Manohar. Now, all it says is there are three styles of Odissi kirtans in Orissa. Saying this is Odissi kirtans in Orissa, Manohar Sai, Ranahati, and Garanhati. Huh. Weird. Okay, that wasn't helpful. Um, form summaries, final thoughts. Let's see. Gaudiya Kirtan style, the Hare Krishna form. Ah, here. I think I found something. Let's see. Somebody asked, where can I find a brief description of the three Gaudiya Kirtan styles, namely Garanhati, Manohar Sai, and Renati? And then somebody says, this is what I have heard about them. This was the inauguration of the Padavali Kirtan of Narottam Thakur. This original style became known as Garanhati, as developed in the area of Gaderhata, Pargana. Gaderhata, so it comes from Garanhati, comes from Gaderhata. Its specific features were its slow tempo, long talas, and cultured language. Yeah, and I think I've mentioned that before. Okay, Narottam, the style of Garanhati, you can find YouTube videos of it. They go like very slow, super slow, and then and the people playing kartals and mridanga, there's like a whole thing going on in their head, and then all of a sudden, like after a very long gap, maybe like 30 seconds or something like that, all of a sudden at the very exact moment, everybody's duh, 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 and then all of a sudden there's another like long gap, and like it takes an hour just to sing one bhajan. That's and I've heard things like that. I mean, like I've heard examples of that. Um, and then Narottam was a great preacher and traveled extensively throughout Bengal and Assam, performing kirtan. His disciple Ganga Narayan Chakravarti followed in his footsteps, also visiting Manipur. Okay, so Ganga Narayan Chakravarti Thakur, he visited Manipur. And in this way, the Garanhati style influenced the Assamese and Manipuri styles of kirtan and dance that we see today. Yeah, I heard that actually I got invited by ISKCON to go for a program in Manipur like in 10 days from now. It's still not confirmed. They still haven't got me a ticket yet, but I might go for that. But I heard that it's very influenced by Narottam Das Thakur, everything there. 108 tals are said to have been used in this style, as well as many ragas. Narahari Chakravarti in his Bhakti Ratnakar has mentioned that no one ventured to violate the Shastric rules and injunctions laid down in the ancient musical treatises, such as Gita Prakash, Sangita Parijata, Sangita Shiromani, Sangita Ratnamala Vachaspati, Sangita Damodar, Sangita Narayan, etc. as well as following all the musical rules mentioned by Bharat and his Natya Shastras. Different interpretations of this Padavali style developed in different regional areas of Bengal. Vipradas Ghosh propagated the Manohar Sahi style in Manohar Sahi Pargana. Thakur Gokulananda, the Rani Hat Renati style in Rani Hati Pargana, and Venidas, the Mandarini style in the Sarkar Mandarana. There was another style in Jharkhandi that started at Medinipur by Kavi Chandra Gokul. These special features of the four schools is that at present, none of these are easily recognizable for want of proper knowledge, culture, and application. Okay, so maybe I read this thing even, but that's how those names came from. Manohar Sahi came from Manohar Sahi Pargana, and the name Renati came from Rani Hati Pargana. So it's based on the names. And Garan Hati was, what was it called? Garir Hata. Yeah. Anyhow, that's something, not much. I guess there isn't so much preserved though about yeah. Anyhow, okay, that's all. Hari bol. See you all tomorrow. Is there anything anybody wants to say before I end for today?